And good morning. This is Eric Rollins, the Constitutionalist, here on 1550 KXEX, the best talk in town. Today, we're going to have a discussion on Fresno schools. There's a lot to discuss there. Before we get there, I've got my opportunities to get involved because, I always want you to go out, find your place, find your group, make a difference. So, first opportunity. Tonight, September 15th. Oh, nope, excuse me, tomorrow night, Thursday, September 15th, the Clovis chapter of Constitutionalist for California is having a meeting at 6:30 p.m., and we have Larry Huspeth there. He's speaking on American history in black and white. This is part 2. We'll deal with the 60s and forward. Pretty interesting discussion. Pretty good presentation. That is at the American Legion Hall, September 15th at 6:30 p.m. Saturday, September 17th is an American Freedom Flag Wave Rally. That is from 10 to 12. I wrote that down wrong. At Shaw and Clovis Avenue. Just a chance to go out and meet a bunch of folks that believe in American freedom. Again, just meeting folks that you are like-minded with gives us strength. There's a lot of apathy going on because there's a lot of problems, but there's also a lot of opportunity. Get involved. Tuesday, September 20th. Let Freedom Ring. This is an event put on by Breaking the Chains, Deborah Rush. It is at the Clovis Rodeo Grounds. It starts at 5 p.m. and it is largely to show support for law enforcement. There will be a ton of people out there. There always are. There will be a lot of our local officials. So, if you wanted a chance to meet your local officials, I know. But if the only time they ever hear from you is when you're complaining and you have no personal relationship, they're going to be a lot less inclined to speak to you. Plus, I truly believe that, the military and the law enforcement both deserve our thanks and our support. And this is an opportunity. Of course, there's a few bad ones. There's a few bad ones in everything. That doesn't mean that most of them aren't absolutely heroes. 2 more events. October 1st, the Great American Freedom Revival. That is going to be a Saturday from 11 to 4 at Bicentennial Park in Clovis. There will be a band, food trucks, speakers. There'll be games for the kids. You'll have the opportunity to hear me speak. But more importantly, you'll have the opportunity to hear the famous Guillermo Moreno. He is one of the keynote speakers. Should be a good time. Hope I get to see some of you there. I'll be there. My final event, October 15th, that is also a Saturday. The Dollar Monthly, which is a Kingsburg local paper, is having a fundraiser. It's going to be a 1940s USO theme. There'll be a band, dinner, raffle, a casino. Should be a lot of fun. I went last year. It's at the Kingsburg Historic Park. So if you get there early at 5, and it goes from 5 to 9, there are docent tours. So it's a neat little museum in addition, both inside and outside. Anyway, hope I see you at one of these events. If you're interested in the Dollar Monthly fundraiser, you need to go to dollarmonthly.com because the tickets are $60, but you get a great dinner and good entertainment. With all those events, and I hope I see at some of them. Mm-hmm. Welcome. Oh. I have Karen Steed. She is running for the McClane district. What number is that?
Area 4.
Area 4.
Mm-hmm.
So welcome.
Thank you.
So why are you doing this, Karen?
Well, I need a new mission, and this is my new mission. I just retired from Fresno Unified. I had 25 years as a teacher in a variety of modes, and I found myself being retired. And I've seen a lot of the issues that Fresno Unified has, and I'm not impressed at all. So, here I am. I have received my marching orders from the Almighty, in a way. And I said, oh, okay. If not me, who? I'm a very intelligent individual. And I have some ideas. Maybe they're great. Maybe they're awesome. Maybe they are the best thing ever. But they also have to be tested out. I have... Fresno Unified has a lot of very difficult positions that they've got to deal with. One is, of course, about the pandemic and how terrible it just devastated and crushed our kids, crushed our families, and it really crushed all of our academic forward momentum. And I use
what was there some before?
Well, I always like to think there was, but after 20 years, realizing how far we've fallen in 20 years, and realizing our kids leave us, Fresno Unified, with a piece of paper that says graduation certificate, graduation diploma, and yet they have a 1.1 GPA.
So kids can graduate with a 1.1?
You know what? All they have to graduate is with the credits. So it sounds like they're showing up for school every single day, getting credit for being in class, but really not doing the hard work of the actual material.
Well, there's a problem with that.
Do you think?
I do think.
Gosh darn it. And you know what? I think the biggest tragedy is I know so many students who work super hard and they're going and they've got the 4.0 and they've got all these great grades, and they are driven, and they get the same graduation diploma as a student who just essentially showed up, took attendance, ate lunch, moved on, and got the same piece of paper.
So they got their participation trophy, basically.
Better than that, they got Willy Wonka's golden ticket. It's a diploma.
But does that mean anything if they're not prepared to fill out a job application and can't do basic reading or math?
You would think that matters, right? You would think.
Well, I've been to 25 Fresno Unified School Board meetings, and they never, ever, ever, ever have addressed these problems. They never acknowledge the fact that there's real problems with the school district.
See, and isn't that, and denial is not just in Africa, by the way. It is not just in Egypt. We got people who know the problem is there, but oh my gosh, let's not talk about that. That is the ugly secret. It's no secret anymore. I mean, when you have we are in the 20th largest school districts in the nation. We're top 20. We're top 3 in California. I mean, that's pretty impressive. We got a lot of kids. But academically, we are in the bottom 5%. Bottom 5. There's
of both California and the nation.
Of the entire nation. Oh, so we're doing better than Detroit.
Well, we should be proud. Where's the rest of the list?
No, see, no, don't do that. Don't point out all of our shortcomings, because after all, it's for the kids. We got to get those kids out there so they can have a diploma and so they can be graduated. Yeah, but when they can't fill out an application, when they can't fill it out because they can't read it, because they don't know what the words say, and much less try to write this, because, that would mean that you needed to know how to spell and put a sentence or two together, because you've got to write about your experiences.
Well, if you can't get a job, a normal job, you probably could get a job mowing lawns, doing some hard labor.
Absolutely. And
or welfare.
or smash and grabs.
So crime.
There's that, because I understand from our previous sheriff that our jail facility is filled with guests that have less than a 4th grade reading level. And they're all, at least 18, 19, and much older.
So the reason we know this is because Sheriff Mims, for about, it was more than 10 years. I forget exactly how long.
She would test them.
And so she knew where they were at, what reading and math levels they had.
Exactly. Is there some sort of correlation? I don't have an education in high school, and I don't have an education in jail. How did you manage to get in jail? Well, because I couldn't get a job, didn't want a job, and was up to some shenanigans. And I got caught.
Hard labor, welfare, or criminal activity are kind of your options if you can only read at the 4th grade.
And what does that do to an adult? An adult's self-confidence. It goes right out the window. Now I feel worthless. Now I feel less than. That's not okay either. But we have spent so much of our own personal time dragging down on each other with social media because we don't look the right way, we don't talk the right way, we don't live in the right place, we don't wear the right clothes, because of all these messages that are perfection. And of course, that's an illusion. But it's so real. We talk about the metaverse, you talk about CGI. Oh my gosh, is that real?
No.
That looks real. That is so real. That is so cool. Yeah. Computer generated and fake. But really, when you look at, do you not believe your eyes? And I think we all talk about that. Do you not see what's in front of you? Do you not see what's in front of you is your child can't read? You surely must know this as a parent. You surely must know as a parent, they can't do math, or they are unfamiliar with math. So,
does Fresno Unified do anything right? Because I understand the AP program is really fairly decent.
Absolutely. There are some incredible programs out there. Don't get it twisted.
So they understand how to be successful, but they've decided that approximately 85% of the school district doesn't deserve.
No, it's not about deserving. It is about the hard work. I think, like any professional will tell you, the reason I'm a success is because I did the hard work. I did the hard work. There were expectations of myself and those around me to be successful, to do that hard work, and I was willing to do it.
So in the AP programs, there's expectations in those schools that are geared towards specialties.
Absolutely. And then they get knocked down because they don't have a forgiving heart or a forgiving program, because we have to increase it because it's not fair to someone else who would like to be in the program but doesn't qualify for it. I mean, we have already seen people who are not qualified to do their job doing a job. And
I would contend that the majority of the current board is there.
I'm thinking, I'm looking at kind of the administration for our nation. We got a lot of people out there working and they don't know what's going on. But, to be fair, you have to be fair. But how do you run a successful business? You just hire anybody? No, I'm trying to make money. But I guess that's a bad thing. That's right. I'm sorry. Making money, making a profit, being successful now seems to be a dirty word.
Well, I've been to, like I say, about 25 Fresno Unified School District meetings. I know you've been to a whole bunch of them. There's a theme, and they seem to have the wrong focus. They always have time to talk about equity, and people of color and LGBTQ.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I don't have any problem with people of color.
No.
I really don't have a problem with LGBTQ as long as they're not indoctrinating kids.
Right.
As an adult, do what you want to do. It's your business.
Mm-hmm.
But the fact that it is always on every single meeting I've been to, there's plenty of time to talk about that, but no time to talk about failing math, failing reading.
Mm-hmm.
So
failing.
Yeah.
And it seems to me that they, the big giant mysterious they, want to create this narrative that because I am, and then you fill in the blank, whether it's LGBTQ or I'm of color or I'm old or I'm whatever, that's keeping me from being successful. No.
That's a victim mentality.
Oh, stop it. No, stop that. Oh, but you're right. That I'm a victim. I'm a victim of whatever it is. Really? You mean to tell me your brain, your brilliant, intelligent self inside that skull of yours is totally driven and only driven by the fact that you're a victim? No, you are smart. You got to learn to adapt and overcome and use that brain of yours. Poverty, circumstances, they're just speed bumps. They are not the walls that keep you down intelligently.
Unless you allow it.
Exactly.
And they're fostering a culture that creates a victimhood, which means that there's also these oppressors.
Oh, yeah, there we go. Yeah. You know what? When I was growing up, chunky kid, chunk. I was bullied mercilessly. Okay. My dad was super smart. He goes, honey, if your mom didn't say it, and I didn't say it, your brother and sister, of course, your brother and sister do it, we're going to have a talk. If we didn't say it, then you know what? What difference does it make what they're saying about you? These people are not a part of your life. These are people who are just trying to hold you down and make you feel bad about yourself. You are smarter than the average bear. We used to watch Yogi Bear. You're smarter than the average bear.
So you ended up with extra picnic baskets.
There you go. That's why I was chunky. Yeah. So, boo-boo, I ended up learning how to ignore the garbage that kept being thrown in my direction. I heard it for years and years and years. The bottom line is, I'm an amazing individual. Now, the fact that you don't know that yet, that is not on me. But let me tell you what, I'll help you understand and figure out how just fantastic I am once we start talking. But you know what? You got to get over your bad self and get past what you think isn't the perfect picture. Because I'm more than my packaging. Just as we know, any product has great packaging. And then you get inside and you go, oh, you mean I spent the money on this? Oh, this is awful. How many commercials have you seen for hamburgers that look just absolutely delicious? And then you pick them up and you go, oh, wow, it's not like the commercial. You're right.
It's like a big piece of commercial fruit that lasts forever, looks beautiful, and then you taste it and it has no flavor.
Oh, it's plastic anyway.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
We're going to go ahead and take a break. This is Eric Rollins, the Constitutionalist, here on 1550 KXEX, the best talk in town. Want to say thank you to all those people on social media. Like and subscribe if you like what I'm doing. Over the next few weeks, I will spend quite a bit of time on Fresno Unified because I think it's one of the ways I can change my county. It is the largest school district and produces the most kids, and I think produces the most failure. And it needs to be fixed. Let's go ahead and come back. This is Eric Rollins, the Constitutionalist, here on 1550 KXEX, the best talk in town. Today, I am joined by Fresno Unified trustee, or no longer, not a trustee
not yet,
but I'm hopeful.
Yeah, I will be. I will be.
Candidate for the McClane district. That is Area 4.
Area 4.
and we're just kind of discussing from a teacher's perspective.
Oh, yeah. Then there's that.
The state of the school district. So tell me a little bit about what you did at the school district and how that gives you a unique understanding of what's going on.
Wow. Well, I've taught elementary school, 3rd grade through 6th grade, and all of that was a fascinating pre-game. It was a 15-year pre-game to where I spent my last 7 years, which was at Phoenix Secondary Academy. And in the district, it's known as Big Phoenix because we have a Big Phoenix and we have a Little Phoenix. And Little Phoenix is the elementary side of a program designed for students who need some behavior modification. They have been in and out of school because of their behavior.
So these are the kids that are causing disruptions in normal classrooms, and they get sent to you.
Yeah, but we have so many of those, and you do have to qualify. I want to give these big air quotes. You got to qualify to get into our school because there has to be a significant amount of trauma that has been documented for these students, and because they end up getting themselves removed from the classroom, they are so far behind academically that we at our school are spending a lot of time trying to get them caught up. Now, to be honest, those are a lot of years you're trying to catch up. So I was teaching 7th grade through 12th grade. I taught Intro to Technology. And when I first got there, I thought, oh my gosh, what is it that you want me to teach them technologically with computers? So I was given a lot of freedom, and God bless my school. I have wonderful people that I work with. I developed my own program alongside what the district had for me to teach, which was very little. What I decided is that my students needed the ability to go out there and be an independent adult, have the skills to go out there and say, I know how to use business applications on the computer, whether it was word processing, PowerPoint, or Excel. If they at least had some familiarity with the application process, because we would learn how to fill out job applications, they would have a little bit better of a shot if they could say, well, yeah, I've used Excel. Maybe they're not really perfect at it, but at least they had some familiarity, or I did how to do PowerPoint.
So that's unique because when I've talked to other teachers from Fresno Unified, they don't have a whole lot of leeway in how they teach. It is a top-down system, and it was unique that you got that experience.
Yeah, exactly.
So with that experience, what was the success like?
You know, it was very successful in many ways because I spent a lot of time with my students having this discussion about what is it going to take to be an adult? What's it really going to take? Because they were only going to have a couple more years with us, and then they were going to be out the door. What was their plan next? You know, were they going to be living at home with mom and dad in the basement, or, you know, whatever it is that we've seen? And do you know how much it takes to live on your own? We went and did little projects about, can you live on minimum wage? And we did this whole research thing about, do you know what minimum wage is here in California? Do you happen to know what minimum wage is in general around the country?
So you could fill out a spreadsheet and do that.
And we did that. And then that's great. So now you know how much you make a month. And removing the taxes from it too, because that's truly very important. This is that tax rate. And then now you go find an apartment. But you know what? Before we all start this, tell me, what do you think your expenses are? You know, what's it going to take for a car payment? What's it going to take for insurance? What's it going to take for rent, water, phone? How much are you going to spend for clothes? I mean, we did this huge thing. I had a student who says, oh, you know what? It's going to cost me $8,000 a month to have all the stuff that I've determined that I want. Oh, $8,000. That's awesome. Well, let's find out. And so when she realized that, you know, she was only bringing home $3,000, I go, looks like you're going to have to do a little trimming on that budget. And so we would do a comparison. The cheapest apartment you can find in Fresno, and then your dream apartment. And we did all that with the cars, the whole bit. And the whole process of finding out, can you slide under there? It was amazing how many kids wanted to have their dogs and their pets and stuff like that. Oh, no, I have to take my dog. Okay. Dog food, vet, Yeah, I'm sorry. That gravy train left. I can't afford to keep the dog. You're right. Those are the sacrifices you make. And I think that's one of the things we learned very quickly is there's an incredible amount of sacrifice to do a job and live your life.
Mm-hmm.
For now. Now, as you move on, how are you going to increase your hourly wage now?
Well, you got to develop some sort of skills or go over to business for yourself, one or the other.
That's right. You got to be better at what you're doing. You got to work harder. You got to work longer. And then you go out there and prove to people that you are a valuable employee. And yeah, I'm going to pay for you. Yeah, you bet.
Well, what I want to point out is in the real world, meaning after school, there's a culture of accountability. If you don't produce, you don't keep the job or you never get promoted.
That's right.
And yet at Fresno Unified, if you just show up. That's all you got to do. You get your participation trophy or golden ticket.
Mm-hmm.
So how do you shift that culture? Where do you start?
You know, first saying that it's not okay. It's not okay to just show up at school. There has to be some consequences to that. Same thing with the employees that we have. You can't just show up and not do your job. Either teaching, supporting the teacher, being in the office, being an administrator. We've already seen a few of those where nothing happened to any of these folks until, of course, it went on live and viral. These people are still existing. There's good and bad for that. How do we start? By saying, you know what? You don't have the GPA. You don't have what it takes. They're trying to now have equity in grading.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, there's no equity in real world getting a job, getting pay.
So we need to, because I know that they want it. They desperately want equity grading.
Oh my gosh.
We need to define what equity grading is for the audience so they know what you're talking about.
Oh. Well, equity grading is kind of like getting a head start because of, and then you fill in the blank for whatever group you associate with. So in general, they're talking about students of color. You get a head start in getting to the goal line.
So instead of them starting at a zero.
At zero, where everybody starts. Here's the starting line, 0.
They get moved up.
Mm-hmm.
For every category that they fit
That's
in. It might
right.
be English as a second language.
Exactly.
In the home.
Poverty, you name it. You know, they're going to give you a little bit of extra street cred for all of that so that you get the same outcome.
But there's a problem with that.
Yeah.
Because you didn't learn anything. They just gave it to you.
Yeah.
So you didn't actually raise all ships.
But the outcome is the same. You all got the same thing.
Sounds like socialism.
No, say it isn't so. Yeah. Well, is that what this community wants? Is that all you expect from your children? What won't you do as a parent for your child to be a success? You just gonna hand them everything? As a parent, I'd love to give my kid everything that they wanted. Reality is, I sacrificed my entire life raising my kiddo from 18. There's a lot of things I went without because my child needed it. And usually that was clothes and shoes. And suddenly now we need to have a bicycle. Well, want. Bicycle was necessary to get to school. So I guess I didn't get what I wanted because my child needed something. I needed to stay home to do some hard work with my kiddo because he struggled with math. Okay, I guess we're sitting down and we're doing math. We're doing reading. He's got horrible handwriting. I think we need to practice on that too, because if somebody can't read what you're communicating, so as a parent, you're really going to be sacrificing a lot. You chose that lifestyle. So now get busy. You need to do all you can to support your child, and you need to sit down and do the work. Yeah, I'm going to have to give up the game. I'm going to have to give up my time. I may have to give up the nails and the hair because there are things that my kiddo needs for his academic progress. But usually it's all about my time. Honey, put down the phone. Guess what? Let's not have a phone. Let's talk about that one.
Okay, so let's give a little background. There was a recent story about Bullard deciding to remove phones from the high school. Now, they didn't actually remove them. They put them in a bag. You can break the seal, but it's not really supposed to happen outside of an emergency during school hours. Is that correct?
Exactly. They're called yonder pouches. And at Big Phoenix, we had them.
So you've already seen how this worked.
Yep. And it's amazing. I love it. Now, number one is we've all heard about the cyberbullying and all of this nonsense that goes on. And kids have access to their phones and they sit there and they say awful, filthy, nasty, mean things all the time.
Well, it's real easy when you're doing it on,
when you're anonymous. So these little pouches, you put your little phone in the bag and you don't have access to it. To the use of it. Now, we have computers in our classroom, so anytime you needed to Google search or do whatever it is that you have to do, you don't need your phone. And quite honestly, they can text in a way through Fresno Unified School System's Teams program. And parents could reach out and text their kid too through the Teams. If their student was online, they could, if that was something that they absolutely needed to do. By the way, we're picking you up from school. Messages were easily gotten to our students. I would regularly get a phone call saying, be sure to tell Braden that mom's picking him up. Don't get on the bus. Mom's picking him up. This was not a problem. Anytime there was an emergency, we got that handled. There are phones at school. You need to use a phone? We got a phone for you. But it is only about business. Again, you're going to have to sacrifice your time for school and your phone goes in a bag. Now, the cool thing about that is that at lunchtime and at breaks and stuff, guess what? Kids were actually talking to each other.
That still happens?
Well, did it Phoenix? They turn around and
so these are the behavioral troubled
kids. They're the ones that are the first one out of the gate to give you some very colorful titles and stuff. But they also learned.
So it worked there.
Yeah, it did. Now, granted, we had under 100 students in our campus, which can be a good thing because we have small classrooms, but these are the kids who are really traumatized in a lot of different ways. They don't have any of those self-editing. And now because the phone isn't there and nothing is anonymous, they did learn how to self-edit and say, oh, if I don't have anything nice to say, maybe I shouldn't say it at all. Now, that didn't stop a lot of them.
But that's a huge culture shift.
It is. It is. And suddenly you have people who are going, oh, you know what? I'm so sorry. I mean, language there can be, like I said, very colorful. And when they would try to use it in my classroom, I go, please, 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 please. I'm a very delicate flower. You don't swear in my classroom. Oh, so sorry, Miss Steed. So sorry, Miss Steed. And I go, I appreciate it. And it was really great to watch them self-edit, because just about the time they're going to be launching, or they say something rather filthy. They go, oh, I'm so sorry, Miss Steed. I didn't mean to say that. And I appreciate that correction. That takes practice. Mm-hmm. Oh my gosh. Being self-aware. Now they're becoming more self-aware. Now socially aware.
Well, all of a sudden they were part of a group. I would contend that if all your time is on your phone in this imaginary world, you're really not part of the group, because your actions don't have the same consequences. No, they don't. And so now everybody knows, and of course there's a tremendous amount of drama. No matter what school you go to, there's always somebody who's wanting to be the big OG. There's always somebody willing to be the popular girl, and so she, that's everywhere you go. As an adult, you know who those people are, and then pretty soon you know why other people don't like them. Mm-hmm. But in order to know that, you actually have to talk to them. Or give them a chance. Give them a chance to be not that person or not have that reputation. And so our students were interacting with each other on a real level. Well, that's a big deal. Mm-hmm. Now, the incumbent in your district, do you wish to say anything about her?
Find a different day job. Because you're going to have to.
I would say anybody else. I think probably you would get somebody that was more fair if you picked a bum off the street.
Well, I suppose, but you know what? My mama taught me that if I didn't have anything nice to say about somebody, don't say it at all.
Well, so you got a better filter than I do then.
Well, you know what? Karma comes around in very bad places at the very wrongest time. Wrongest? Yes. And you know what? God bless her for trying. God bless you. But you need to go find something else to do, because you didn't do a very good job right now. So I plan on taking your place. Slide over.
So you have a different perspective than her. That's fair.
I think so. I'm absolutely different. More different. And actually, I'm a fun person to be with, too. Yeah.
Well, she seems angry a lot.
Oh, she's one of those angry birds?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, how sad. How sad. No, I mean, even my worst day. I mean, tomorrow's another day. I got another chance to be another amazing day for me. Holy cow, this can't be the hardest thing I ever do in my life. And if it is, well, okay. And tomorrow it'll be different. That was, I think, the biggest thing about being a school teacher. I mean, the worst, nastiest, most failure day. Tomorrow's another one. I have another chance to make it better. Because that didn't work yesterday. I better have a better plan tomorrow.
Well, and if you bring the wrong attitude, the kids know it instantly.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. So I would tell my students, listen, honey, you weren't here yesterday. And my day was just not the same. You were not here. My day was not the same. I'm so glad you're back. And they're looking at you going, oh, she is. But that became part of the norm too. If you're not here, my day is not the same. You gotta help me out here. So, it got to be something really cool. And so they all were really sad when they heard that I was leaving. And I said, oh, you mean I can't have you next year? No, sorry. Oh, it's Steed. Yeah. That's right.
We're going to go ahead and take another break. This is Eric Rollins, the Constitutionalist, here on 1550 KXEX, the best talk in town. So when we come back, I just kind of want to focus on because the board directs the superintendent.
Mm-hmm.
The superintendent runs the day-to-day operations of the school.
Mm-hmm.
How can the board create a plan and affect the direction of the school? So,
Wow.
and then hope and solutions.
Wow.
So we're going to go ahead and come back. This is Eric Rollins, the Constitutionalist, here on 1550 KXEX, the best talk in town. I am joined by Karen Steed. She is a candidate for Fresno Unified School District.
Area 4.
Area 4, that is the McClane district.
Mm-hmm.
Welcome.
Thank you. So how do we, I guess the real question is, how do we go about changing the district and making it better and creating an environment that is more academically friendly at the school board level? Okay, school board is responsible for just a few things, which is the money, the policies, and we're in charge as superintendent. Okay.
So you create a plan.
Yeah.
You have the blueprint largely that the superintendent is supposed to then implement.
Exactly. We're sending out him as our little lieutenant to go out there and go make it all happen. Now, it seems to me that there could possibly be a communication breakdown, that whatever the board is looking to try to achieve doesn't quite get clearly communicated down the line. That's possible. I think Mr. Nelson is a smart man. Maybe he needs to have a hearing check and understand. We need to come to clear understandings, I think, is number one. Number two, since we're holding the money, I say let's defund a few of these things that are interfering with the academics. If it doesn't have anything to do with the academics of our kids to get them where they need to be, maybe we should start thinking about defunding it.
Wait a minute. I was at a board meeting not very long ago where they talked about how they wanted to open up their campuses to homeless families and let them feed them and let them use the washing machines.
Okay.
And that would be your opponent that had all this idea. Now, I didn't hear a single word along those lines that had to do with education.
Wow. But okay. Well, you know what? There's a whole other department that's in charge of the homeless and that kind of stuff. I think they're called, what is it? Health and Human Services, run by the state of California and county of Fresno. I think, aren't they in charge of that part?
Well,
we're the school district. So the school, unless it has something to do with school, I think that's where we're at. That's what we do. That doesn't sound like my lane.
So you have a different position on that than your opponent, than the incumbent in that position.
Yeah. This is not my lane. The lane I have is academics. How do I help students achieve and get through this system so that they can be independent adults contributing positively in our community and globally? Maybe, who knows? We'll have just another brilliant person who's going to change the world in a different way. But in order for them to have it, they've got to have some academics behind them. They got to be able to get through school and sacrifice, do the hard work, and have parents that believe in them too. Actually, our kids need to believe in themselves.
Absolutely. Now, you also mentioned something. You said that you would regularly go to all the school districts, all the schools in your district.
Exactly. I'm taking on a new full-time job. And what I want to do is I want to go to every single school in my area and visit and hang out at the morning at some schools, the afternoon when they're leaving, so I see parents, make my presence known in that school at least let's say there's like 30 school sites in my area. Okay, that's one a day. Oh, and I got weekends, so that means I got to at least see 2 to 3 a day And so rotate them out. I'm going to be here on this day at your school. So if you have a question, if you get a parent, you just tell them, Miss Steed's going to be on our campus. If you want to talk to the school board personally, she's going to be here on Thursday at 8 o'clock in front of our school. Absolutely. What a way to reach out to the community. Because that's the big thing. How do they reach out to us to let us know what they want and what they need?
That's like my point about meeting your local politicians. School boards are local politicians. It is a political office in a lot of ways. I hope that their focus is on education, not politics.
Oh, no, I
hope.
Yeah. Well, hope is not a strategy. That's the problem. But no, this is not something that I'm looking to do forever and ever and ever. As long as I am of service, I'm giving a valuable service and in service to my area. That's what I want to do. When I'm useless and I'm being a jerk, I want to be asked to leave the building too, because I am not working and being a servant with my people in my area. They need a voice. Okay, I'll be willing to do that. But you know what, honey? You're going to need to speak up too. I need to know what your voice sounds like. So that's why I want to be at the schools. I want to be there.
What a bizarre idea. Somebody that is a servant. Somebody that's an elected office that's a servant. If more people went in with that perspective, I think we'd have a very different country.
It would be very different. It would be very different. And imagine how much further along we could be and how less divisive we would be if everybody walked in with a servant's heart. So, and when I am of use or not of use, then I need to realize, accept that, bow out gracefully, and say, someone else needs to take this.
Wait, 50 years in public office is too much?
Oh, what a flatterer. You know what? Let's just take it one time. Well,
you're young enough. You could serve 50 years in.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, there you go. There you go. I feel like I could do that.
I think that when somebody doesn't spend time in the real world, and I don't think that public office is completely the real world, you are disconnected with a lot of day-to-day realities.
That's right.
And so when you're in that position for too long,
you lose your effectiveness.
Not just your effectiveness, your connection to the people.
Well,
you lose your servant's heart.
And there it is. And that's just it. I mean, I guess it's kind of like, you put in a wall freshener in the wall, and oh wow, your house smells so great. This is awesome. This is wonderful. And then before you know it, your 30 days are over, and you're going, oh yeah, that kind of lost its freshness. So I want to remain fresh and of use and of service to folks.
I like the air freshener. I was thinking diapers, so air freshener is much better.
Yes.
We're down to about...
Because I'm cooler than you.
I'd argue that, but I'd lose.
Yes, you would. That's okay.
We're down to about a minute and a half.
Okay.
Why are you thankful? And also, before we get to the last of it, give your contact information if they want to support your campaign.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So my website is electkarenasteed.com. And pretty much the same email, electkarenasteed@gmail.com. There is also, I think there's Karen A. Steed 101 at Gmail. So I've got a few things. I am on Facebook. I am on Twitter, Instagram, Getter, and those are, most of them are Elect Karen A. Steed. The other one, or Karen Steed, you can probably, Getter will get you to Karen Steed. So I am not, I'll be honest, I am not a big fan of social media simply because it can be so destructive.
So we're down to 20 seconds. Why are you hopeful? Why should they vote for you?
Listen, my thing is students succeed with Steed. Well, You've had 20 years of whatever has been going on before. Guess what? I'm new. Let's go. And so you should vote for me because I'm the clear choice. So
I thank you, Karen.
sure.
Give your website one more time.
electkarenasteed.com.
I thank you for this time.
Sure.
That's a wrap.
All right.
This is Eric Rollins, the Constitutionalist, here on 1550 KXEX, the best talk in town.